from a skills perspective, we've clearly recognised that the acceleration around digital transformation across organisations is changing the way that we work, not just in what we do, but how we do it. Through the discussions and the workshops that we've been having to date with the Skills Working Group, we've recognised that actually we need to understand the current landscape of project data analytics skills from both an individual perspective and also from an organisation. We collectively recognise from our own organisations or those that we work with, such as the customers, our suppliers, our partners, our training organisations, that the focus on data and digitisation has given rise to major transformation programmes across all sectors and industries. And so in recognising this, the Skills Workstream want to effectively engage and listen to the heartbeat, as we've classified it, of the current organisational environment. And we're aiming to conduct a survey across a broad section of the organisations in the UK, as well as through the community through Martin. In doing that survey, what we're hoping to achieve is gaining that insight, not just from an individual perspective on their roles and the impact of project and data and analytics to them, but also to understand the activities that are happening across small, medium and large organisations and how they are currently addressing the challenges of project data analytics and the future environment that we're all working towards. In doing that, we're hoping through that sense making, that's going to give us a better understanding of the requirements and the developments that are needed for this project data and analytics framework. The aspiration is that from this informed view that we're going to get from a broad section of industry organisations, that actually we can start to bring some alignment together, which complements and kind of collaborates with the existing initiatives that are already happening across the organisations. And we can then achieve a framework which effectively can be adopted by this broad section of cross-industry, cross-sector, small, medium, large enterprises, that really enables them to look at how they improve their capability in project data and analytics. I'm absolutely a strong believer that no one currently has the silver bullet in this space, whether that's an individual or an organisation. And it's only through the fact that, we are going to collaborate, as Andy spoke about before, and work together in aligning some of our approaches that we can actually achieve the goal of, improving our project and programme performance and delivering successfully. My ask is, if anybody's wanting to kind of get involved in the skills workstream, then please reach out and get in touch. It is an interesting space. Everybody is talking about the skills for the future now from a project data and analytics perspective. So it really is kind of a fundamental part of the direction we need to take a lot of organisations. In building the framework, what we've recognised is that we need to enable both individuals and organisations to assess where they are in terms of their capability, and to be able to enable them to do that gap analysis, which then they can start to think about their route to how they are going to fill that gap, understanding the learning and development that they need to bring in to their organisations, and also where the learning and development community effectively need to start thinking about how they adapt their deliverables to meet the requirements that we are going to be framing. We've recognised, though, that this framework, this skills framework, needs to effectively sit across what is probably a very, very broad spectrum of industry, both from size, scale, complexity, the types of projects and the environments that we all work in, the customers that we have. And so when we think about that, that flexibility, what we've also got to think about and what we're absolutely keen on is making sure that the framework is also has a high level of practicality to it, that any organisation can adopt for implementation. The other aspect that we've recognised through the skills framework and through the thinking that's happened so far is that we need to make sure that the requirement for enhanced data skills, is recognised across all professions, and that it's also recognised through lots and lots of different roles within our organisations. And therefore, from whether you think about a role as being a subject matter expert, to somebody who's more of a generalist in data and analytics, to your project control specialists, then really what we're talking about doing is making sure that we have a role-based approach to how we improve our data culture, our data literacy, and our data skills. So in terms of where we are for the future, we are obviously working our current plan, and if you can go down, Yoshi, please, to the next slide. What we are looking to do is effectively create now the framework through the activities that we're going to start commencing delivery on soon. And we've got a bit of work to do yet in terms of putting a little bit more meat on the bone or skin on the fish. We're not kind of sure which way to term this. But what we are looking at doing is creating now owners for each of these strands effectively of activity that we can then start to mobilise against. So that's a bit of the update from the skills work stream.